Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. The other day I was scrolling through my files and I came across a video that's almost 2 years old about how to make money with all skills. Something that keeps haunting me about that video is that I said that there's no viable way to make money with prayer, to which people said cremating shade remains for keys was actually a thing. Because of that, I thought, why not remake this video with more modern activities and show you the best moneymaker per skill as of today. Remember that for every new subscriber on this video, my puppy will get a kiss, and if you become a channel member with a join button below, you have instant access to our Discord and a bunch of other benefits on the channel. As it is to be expected, I have two important disclaimers for this video. Number one, and most importantly, remember that all the information you see here was tested with my max domain, so results may depend based on your levels. The second one is that, although these methods will almost always be profitable, because of the fluctuating market, profit may go up or down depending on the demand of these items. Boys and girls, let's learn how to make a ton of GP with every single skill in the game. For the very first one, we have a 2-for-1. We will go for melee and then ranged and magic through combat. Even though Vorkath is now over 5 years old, it is still a money printing machine, especially if you do it with a trusty Dragon Hunter lance. Obviously, you need to complete the Dragon Slayer 2 quest, after which the money dragon will be free for you to farm as much as you want. I was able to slay 6 Vorkath in a 12-minute trip, which after banking, resupplying and teleporting, comes out to be roughly 28 kills per hour. With a decent RNG for the drops, this means around 4 million GP per hour, and I'm still surprised at how good of a money-making method this is. I can get around the 25k experience per hour in attack and defense, and about 32k strength experience in the same time because I was using Dragon Claws. With the newest quest being Secrets of the North, it is no secrets, pun intended, that the Phantom Muspa is, as of the time of making this video, the most consistent money-making boss in the game. I have uploaded a guide on how to kill it even with budget gear, and with the occasional supply drops you can stay here for a fairly decent time. My setup consists of both ranged and magic with an ancient spellbook, and I was able to kill 6 of them in a 20-minute trip including resupplying. With that amount of kills, I walked away with 1.4 million GP, and it's not like I got anything spectacular out of it. Even after nerfs to the drop table, if you're looking to make some extra cash, the Phantom Muspa is the way to go. Okay, and now for the method that pretty much inspired this whole video. How do you make money with prayer? Well, after completion of the Shades of Morton quest, you have access to a sort of minigame with the same name. If you cremate Urium Shades with Redwood Pyre logs with the help of a coffin and your Mauritania legs, this place is great to get some extra cash. You will use the logs on the stone bed, followed by the shade remains, and then click on that to cremate the skeleton. When doing so, it has a chance of leaving a golden key behind. These are used to open the chests in the crypt, and in 1 hour I was able to cremate nearly 290 remains. This comes out to be around 1.5 mil GP per hour, which sounds a little bit higher than average, but as always, RNG is going to be different. I also walked away with 70,000 prayer experience and a whopping 300,000 firemaking experience per hour, which pretty much rivals the Winter Toad. For magic, we have a ton of spells in all 4 available spellbooks, but when you compare the profit per spell, nothing beats the lunar spell called Tan Leather. In order to use it, you need level 78 magic, and oddly enough, the hard Fremennik diary to use it, which in my opinion doesn't make a lot of sense, but for every cast you will tan 5 pieces of leather. All dragon leather will be profitable, but at the time of making this video, red dragon leather will give you the best bang for your buck. Even with sloppy clicks, I tanned nearly 9,000 leather in an hour, which equates to upwards of 1.3 million profit in the same time. To make it even better, this is a great magic training method, giving you around 125,000 experience per hour, so get tanning those leathers. Let's move on to the best skill in the game. For this one, I actually tested 2 methods because I wasn't sure which one would come out on top. And to my surprise, even if they are at the lowest price point they have ever been, blood runes are still the best option to make money with runecrafting. This was all thanks to the Blood Essence item, because without it, Wrath runes would have come out on top. Now, don't get too excited, because this method is the best one for the skill with the Colossal Pouch, the Runecrafting outfit, and the shortcut which requires level 93 agility, which is a little bit steep. Thanks to all of these things, I was able to craft around 9,600 blood runes, equivalent to 1.9 mil GP per hour, and a very humble 50,000 experience in the same time. For those of you who are curious, I crafted 9,400 Wrath runes in an hour, which gave me 1.8 mil and a 48k experience per hour, so they were pretty close. Now, for the next one, you might be like, well, Kaoz, there's actually no way to make money with construction. But thanks to a very specific activity in the game, you can make money with the skill. For this, I'll let an expert give us his explanation.
I'm Workless. I am a host on 330. The most important pieces of furniture to get started hosting would be you want to have a gilded altar. Most people use 330 for the gilded altars. Aside from that, the second most important things I would say would be the jewelry box, the nexus. You just want to have access to all the teleports. The money is inconsistent at best, but if I were to add up like how much I made and say like how much that equates to like per hour, I would say if you host consistently, like on a consistent schedule, you should be making at least 1 to 2 mil per hour. It's not the best. There's obviously like a lot better money makers, but it is a nice thing on the side. I want to shout out the Workless clan chat, specifically the stepdads, Bogskin, Young Akka, and Bully. We're the most abominable clan in RuneScape. Feel free to join. It's a lot of fun. And as far as the podcast, check out the Real Workless experience for episodes every week.
After that interesting bit of information, we move on to agility. In order to make the highest GP per hour, you will need level 92 for the 5th floor of the Hallowed Sepulchre, to which is available after Sins of the Father. This is an amazing way to train the skill, and if done correctly, you will make a ton of money from it if you have what it takes to keep up with it. To maximize profit, I recommend getting comfortable with the course until you can get to the 4th and 5th floor with tons of time to spare. This will allow you to loot the chest on these floors apart from the grand chest at the end. Even without taking the Ring of Endurance into account, you can make around 900,000 GP per hour with this method. I was getting 7 full completions per hour, landing me about 75k XP per hour, which will be higher if you don't loot any chests, but remember, we are here to make money. For Herblore, we have a new method thanks to the reworked Arceus spellbook. There's a spell called Degrime, which will use up a few runes, and in exchange, it's going to clean your entire inventory of grimy herbs. Because of how volatile herbs can be, profit per herb is changing literally almost every day. When I tested this method myself, the most profitable herb to do this with was Avento. You can cast this spell fairly quickly, allowing for upwards of 13,000 herbs to be cleaned this way. Like I said before, it is heavily recommended to do this quickly, and avoid waiting for a long time before you sell your clean herbs. Literally the following day, which is when I'm making the script, casting the spell with Avento isn't profitable anymore. But at the time, I walked away with 600,000 GP profit, 65k Herblore, and 40k magic experience in 1 hour. For thieving, pickpocketing is going to be our best friend for consistent money making. For it, I recommend stealing from elves at Prifinus with the full rogue's outfit. This requires completion of Song of the Elves and at least level 85 thieving to do so. If you get lucky, you may yoink 2 enhanced crystal teleport seeds, which will surely give you a nice boost of dopamine. The reason I recommend elves and not Vire watches is because the rate at which you can get the crystal seed is 1 in 1000, whereas Vire watches can yield 1 or 2 blood shards for around 6 mil each, but these have a drop rate of 1 in 5000, which is a little ridiculous. With normal loot from elves, I was getting around 400k GP per hour, along with a very chill 165,000 thieving experience in the same time. Crafting is another skill that could be considered viable, but we have some options that are great for both GP and experience per hour. At level 38 crafting, you can make topaz bracelets out of silver vars and cut topaz at any furnace in the game. I recommended one in Edgeville or even Prifinus for it to be a lot faster. When enchanted, they will become a Bracelet of Slaughter, which is very popular for Slayer. When testing this method, I was able to make nearly 1,400 bracelets, landing me 550k profit all for an hour worth of work. Along with it, it also gave me 101,000 crafting experience, which is incredible at this low of a level. As a quick side note, I would recommend being patient with this item and letting it sit on the Grand Exchange until they buy for a decent price, since they're not going to go as quickly as other items. Fletching is going to be pretty chill. At level 63, you may attach ruby bolt tips to adamant bolts, which will certainly always be on demand because the enchanted version is crucial for PVMing. All you need are these 2 items in your inventory, and then use one on the other for your character to make sets of 10. It's really that simple. The Grand Exchange buy limit will be a small obstacle for this one, because I was able to make upwards of 30,000 bolts in an hour, giving us a humble 450k GP and 170,000 fletching experience in the same time. For the previous one, make sure to buy and sell your items slowly in order to maximize your gains, as margins can be somewhat tight. For Slayer, I am going to limit myself to Slayer-only bosses, and with a hefty requirement of level 95, it's no surprise that the Alchemical Hydra is the best one to make money from. The only downside is that you must be on a Hydra task in order to kill it, so you can't just farm it whenever you want. I am personally able to slay 24 of them per hour, and this comes out to be 2.8 mil GP in the same time, along with 100,000 ranged and the 30k Slayer experience in that 1 hour. In order to stay here longer, you may bring your Bone Crusher necklace to bury the bones, and wait for alkables and other valuable items. For Hunter, we are going to be risking it all and going to the wilderness to capture Black Chinchompas. Technically speaking, you need level 73 to catch them, but I recommend a minimum of 80 to be able to lay 6 traps in your preferred spots. Remember that in the wilderness you are able to set 1 extra trap for whatever you are hunting. Other than shitting my pants waiting for PKers to arrive, doing this for an hour got me around 300 Black Chinchompas, which equates to nearly 800,000 GP and a 96k Hunter experience. Depending on the time of the day, I would recommend banking your chins every now and then. Otherwise, you are going to see degenerate baboons like Max DeLee, who couldn't PK a Green Dragon bot to save their lives. Get good, shitter. For a long time, I thought mining as a moneymaker was doomed until I tried mining Runite ore myself under the Myths Guild. This location requires at least 85 mining and completion of Dragon Slayer 2. If not, Runite rocks are pretty scarce around RuneScape. They will take a while to mine, so it's also pretty AFK. Surprisingly, every single world I visited had both Runite rocks available, and I was able to mine 120 rocks in an hour, which included minimal banking time. This equates to around 1.3 mil GP per hour and a laughable 14,000 experience. And remember, if you think this is a lie, I tested them all myself, and I am a maxed account. I'm just as surprised as you are to get this much for mining, so you can go ahead and try it. Up next we have smithing, and we will do something more consistent that doesn't depend on rocks being available. Smithing Runite ore into Runite bars at the blast furnace is the best moneymaker available for this skill. To use it, it's recommended to have 60 smithing to freely use this place, and just remember to deposit some cash in the pouch every now and then. Now, since I am maxed, my coal bag holds more coal, and I loaded the furnace a lot faster, which allowed me to smelt just about 2,200 Runite bars for a whopping 1.7 mil and 98,000 smithing experience per hour. If you're looking to get smithing up by not spending too much money, definitely smelt a ton of Runite bars and then buy gold ore with your profit. Fishing is another skill that seems to have been ruined by PVM drop tables because of all the raw fish obtained from sources other than fishing. But if you have spirit flakes from Temporos, the best money making with fishing is catching dark crabs at the Wildy resource area. With your lobster pot, dark fishing bait, and said spirit flakes, along with a decent fishing level, you are looking at about 500 dark crabs, 480,000 GP, and a humble 45k fishing experience per hour. But as always, being in the Wildy is a bit risky. Although if you find PKers like Maxley, you're probably going to be safe. Not really worth it in my opinion, but your best bet for fishing. Opposite to fishing we have cooking, and preparing almost any type of raw fish will give you profit with the exception of just a few pieces of food. As of the time of making this video, cooking anglerfish is the best profit per action, and it will always be on demand because of PVM activities. I would recommend cooking at either the Myths Guild or the Rogue's Den for maximum efficiency, as well as cooking gauntlets for less burns per inventory. Level 82 is required to cook them, but I suggest at least level 90 for more profit, or you can go to the Hosidius kitchen for even less burns. I cooked 1,450 anglerfish per hour for nearly 300 KGP, and a staggering 330,000 cooking experience in the same window of time. Firemaking will be pretty quick, and it's because cremating Urium shades like we did for prayer is the best GP per hour with the skill as well. Some could think of the Winter Toad, but loot crates don't really come close to the amount of profit provided by golden chests in the Morton Crypt. And remember, it's roughly 1.5 mil, 300,000 firemaking, and 70,000 prayer experience per hour. With woodcutting you don't have a lot of options, but the best one is cutting magic trees at the Woodcutting Guild. You can access this place at level 60 woodcutting, and 75% Hosidius favor. Almost like mining and fishing, because of PVM drops, woodcutting has been massively devalued over the years. And we can only wait to see if forestry will be able to revive this skill. Anyway, copium aside, with 99 woodcutting and the invisible +7 level boost from the guild, I was able to cut around 180 magical logs per hour, giving me 100% profit of nearly, wait for it, 200,000 GP, along with a jaw-dropping 45k experience in the same time. Last and definitely not least, we have farming. There are so many factors that go into calculating GP per hour here that it's not even funny. And for this one, I will actually be a wiki warrior before telling you what I got out of my run. Statistically speaking, farming snapdragons is the best use of your money, granted you have a high level for your herbs not to die so often. I did a full 9 patch run in 6 minutes, which provided a yield of 94 herbs out of 9 seeds. This was actually a pretty lucky run. For a total profit of 360k and a 10,000 farming experience in that one cycle, not even making use of the anime patch, try to use cheap seeds that yield expensive herbs to maximize profit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, that's pretty much it for the best money-making methods per skill as of mid-March of 2023. If you enjoyed, let me know which method is your favorite in the comments down below. If you include the word moneda in your comment, you will be entered in a bond giveaway for which we will randomly pick a winner on Friday. I want to give a massive, girthy, and veiny thank you to all my channel members for further supporting this channel with a monetary subscription. Your support goes a long way and you have no idea how much I appreciate it. You can become part of this list of legends by clicking the join button below to see all the perks you can get in the videos, in the live streams, and in the Discord. Stay tuned for the next video, where I will show you how to get from levels 1 to 99 cooking in the most efficient, the most profitable, or the fastest way possible. Have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.